Hi, my name is Chris Sturhan. Welcome to another episode of Drinks from Eddie Muller's Noir Bar. Each week I take a chapter from the book Eddie Muller's Noir Bar, Cocktails Inspired by the World of Film Noir, and I talk about the film in that chapter and I make the drink associated with it. Today we are going to be looking at the film Raw Deal and making the drink Pisco Punch. Now, Raw Deal was released in 1948. It was directed by Anthony Mann. Now, Anthony Mann made a pretty fair number of film noir films, but he's probably better known for the westerns he made with Jimmy Stewart in the 50s. Kind of gave, Jimmy Stewart a chance to get his teeth into some grittier roles and kind of play against type, and those films were excellent. But so were the film noirs that Anthony Mann made. The film stars Dennis O'Keefe and Claire Trevor and Marsha Hunt, and as he often did early on in his career, playing the heavy is Raymond Burr. Now, the story is Dennis O'Keefe is in prison. He actually, I think, took the fall for Raymond Burr in exchange for $50,000. And the film opens and Claire Trevor is visiting him in prison, and she finds out that he already has a visitor there already, and it turns out that is Marsha Hunt. And she was the kind of the social worker who was kind of following his case, and she's meeting with him to try to help him get out on parole if he stays out of trouble for the next 2 or 3 years. Obviously, Claire Trevor doesn't take real well to this. She doesn't like this other woman being involved with her man. Now, they come up with an escape attempt, and if I remember, Raymond Burr kind of helps with that, but he also helps with it in a way that may or may not be too beneficial for Dennis O'Keefe. Basically the idea is that he's either going to get killed or he's going to get a longer sentence so that Raymond Burr doesn't have to pay him the $50,000. By sheer luck, Dennis O'Keefe is able to escape, and he goes to San Francisco so he can meet with Raymond Burr and get his $50,000. Unfortunately, by the time he gets there, the heat is on, and he has to find a safe place to hide, and the only place he can think of is in Marsha Hunt's apartment. So he kind of breaks in and takes her hostage, and then he and Marsha Hunt and Claire Trevor go, take it on the lam, and they have to leave San Francisco and kind of hide out in the mountains, in Washington State to avoid him being captured. There's a lot of tension going on, of course, between Claire Trevor and Marsha Hunt, and of course, as you kind of almost guessed would happen, Marsha Hunt falls in love with Dennis O'Keefe, and Claire Trevor has to deal with that, and it's a good role for her. It really works out well. Marsha Hunt is very good in it. Dennis O'Keefe is good, but it really is Claire Trevor's film. Claire Trevor, one of those actresses you don't hear a lot about, but she had some really, really great roles. She was very good in Stagecoach as the dance hall girl with the heart of gold, and she was excellent in Key Largo, playing Edward G. Robinson's kind of unwanted mistress. And here she's it's almost that same type of thing. She's, Dennis O'Keefe is her man, but you've got this other woman who's, getting in between them, and she has to kind of deal with that. And she pulls it off really well. It also, it's kind of interesting in that all of the voiceover narration in this film is from Claire Trevor, and that's kind of unusual because you don't normally see the woman being the person narrating the story. It is whenever she talks, there's kind of a theremin playing this creepy music in the background. You're not, obviously there's something weird going on, but you kind of get to the movie and it's like, oh, that's why that happened. Of course, you have Raymond Burr as the heavy, and as usual, Raymond Burr plays, as he often did, he plays a gangster, but kind of a gangster who's trying to be classy, but he just is not classy, and trying to come up in the world and get accepted as just a businessman, but there's no way he can pull it off. And there's a scene that involves him and some Flaming Cherries Jubilee and a woman that he was presumably dating, and the Cherries Jubilee being on fire, and the woman's face. It's one of those things where it's like, oh shit, did that just happen? And yeah, it did happen. Definitely good movie, really worth watching. They don't show it a whole lot. It's one of those things where if it comes up, you really should go out of your way and check it out. The drink we're going to be having is Pisco Punch. Now, according to Eddie Muller, this is kind of an old-fashioned San Francisco drink. It uses Pisco brandy, which was something that was kind of imported to San Francisco by South American immigrants from Peru, miners who came to San Francisco during the gold rush to work in the mines and hopefully get rich. And they brought their Pisco brandy with them. And this is an old drink that was made that, Ambrose Bierce and Jack London and Mark Twain all had and wrote about in their writings. So I'm really looking forward to trying that. Hopefully you'll stick around for that. We'll be back and make that drink in just a minute. And we're back. So we're going to make Pisco Punch. So it's a shaker drink. So we're going to load up our shaker with some ice. And we're going to start with Pisco brandy. Now this is Peruvian brandy, although this particular one comes from Chile, but it's the only Pisco brandy I could find. So we're going to call it good. We use 2 ounces of that. There's 1 ounce. And 2 ounces. And then it calls for Liber and Company pineapple gum syrup, which I was able to find locally. Yay, didn't have to order it through Amazon. A little shout out to a place called Collins and Coop, which is a small cocktail specialty supply store in North Park here in San Diego. So shout out to them. They had a good price on this. They also had some pimento bitters, which I couldn't seem to find anywhere else either. So got that. So that was a 1/2 ounce of the Liber and Company pineapple gum syrup. And then we have a 1/2 ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. Okay, and 1 ounce of pineapple juice. And apparently San Francisco, because it was such a big port, according to Eddie, was one of the few places where before Hawaii was a state, they could get pineapple, and so that made it into this drink, which was kind of a San Francisco drink. So, oops, wait, 1 ingredient we're missing. We need it says 1 chunk of pineapple. It's not a garnish. And he didn't, oops. I'll be right back. One more time. And we have a piece of pineapple, fresh pineapple. Now, Eddie Muller didn't say what to do with that. So I assume it just goes in the shaker tin with the rest of the ingredients. And I assume the pineapple chunk, bashing around with the pieces of ice will kind of help extract some of the juice and some of the pulp from the pineapple. Okay, now we're going to load up with some fresh ice. And let's do one more. And break this open and strain into a large old-fashioned glass. Well, it looks good anyway. Okay. And we garnish with, it said we needed brandied cherries, but I didn't have brandied cherry. I couldn't find brandied cherries. I found bourbon cherries, so we're just going to go with that. So we have Pisco Punch. And the cherry is now sinking down to the bottom. So we're going to give it a shot. Wow. That is really good. Very pineapple-y. You can't really taste the booze very much, but that is really nice. I kind of like the frothiness of it. I'm not sure what's causing that. Maybe that's the, the pulp in the pineapple causing it, but it's really nice. Okay, so we're going to call this one definitely a winner, along with Raw Deal being a winner. So we're going to raise our glass in, in the Bayfront and some San Francisco dive bar and say cheers. I hope you join me next time.